This movie has every freaking superhero. It has Captain America, Iron Man, Spider-Man, Hulk, Thor, Black Widow, Vision, Falcon, War Machine, Black Panther, Doctor Strange, Scarlet Witch, Guardians of the Galaxy, Blue Falcon, Dynamite, RoboCop, Big Hero 6, Mr. Clean, Angela Merkel, Captain Underpants, Kangaroo Jack, Puss in Boots, Trash Gordon, the Backstreet Boys. This has every freaking superhero. And despite there being like 600 characters in this movie, you don't really need to watch all the Marvel movies to get it. The plot is pretty straightforward, so if you have as much as a vague understanding as to who most of these characters are, you're all set. And dude, you can just watch the Superhero Squad intro and you'll know what's going on.
With this Infinity Gauntlet, I, Thanos, will rule the universe!
Alright, squaddies, time to hero up!
I mean, it's not like anyone needs any convincing to go see this movie. It can just be the Avengers going out for takeout and people are gonna flock to go see it. You know comedians in cars getting coffee? Well, I want superheroes in cars getting shawarma. Avengers Infinity War is Marvel's most ambitious film to date. It's Marvel taking out every single toy from their toy box and mashing them together in this orgy of awesomeness. The Russos are back. They directed Captain America Civil War and Captain America the Winter Soldier, and yet again, they do a great job at balancing all these characters. These team-ups are so wacky and unexpected and open the door to a lot of creative action scenes. And you also get dramatic character moments in between. We know from the previous movies that the Russos are great at directing stellar fight sequences, and while I do gravitate more towards the hand-to-hand martial arts fights, there's no doubt that the action in this movie is fantastic. And now with more powerful characters like Doctor Strange and Thor at their disposal, these action scenes are even more massive and epic. Okay, let's talk about Thanos for a sec. Everybody was hyping him up to be the greatest Marvel villain ever, before Infinity War came out, by the way. Even though we haven't really seen that much of him. It was just him sitting on his ass and took him like 10 movies to stand up and take a few steps. Marvel was really building him up and there were a lot of expectations riding on this character. Did they deliver? For the most part, they did. Thanos is intimidating, he's scary. You watch that opening scene and you already know this fool ain't messing around, dude. He ain't playing. Sure, his motives are the exact same as a lot of other villains. You know, kill a lot of people for evil reasons, wipe out planets and stuff. But he does get a surprising amount of depth and exploration into his character, particularly in his relationships with his daughters Nebula and Gamora. He really steals the show in this movie, man. It's like it's his movie. I must say, the CGI and motion capture in these villains is exceptional. They felt so real and tangible with, you know, great performances from their actors, but kudos to the animators. They put a lot of detail into the models. You can even see like thin bits of hair in the skin. Really makes them feel like they're sharing the same space as these on-set actors. The Black Order, as I'm told, they're called the Children of Thanos in the movie. How many children does Thanos have? He's like the freaking Brad Pitt of space. Anyway, the Children of Thanos, they don't get a whole heap of development or exploration, but I get that they're kind of like mini-bosses to give the Avengers villains to fight apart from those Venom monsters, the Outriders, you know? So they're kind of like Thanos' goons. You have, you know, the big bulky guy, you have the girl, you have the kind of wizard dude. They actually kind of reminded me of the Stone Warriors from TMNT. Also some surprising appearances. Red Skull from all the way back from Captain America the First Avenger, he's back. Yeah, a lot of people, myself included, felt like his defeat in the movie was intentionally left a little bit open-ended so that Marvel could, you know, come back and reuse him. We just didn't know how they were gonna reuse him. And now we know. There you go, he's some kind of mystic space Nazi, floating around like a freaking Dementor from Harry Potter. And also Peter Dinklage. Completely forgot he was in this movie, and he played a pretty good role as a surviving dwarf that helps build Stormbreaker. There are a lot of things that you can expect from these overblown Marvel team-ups. The Avengers charging into battle against a horde of CGI monsters, a lot of big spectacle set pieces, a lot of quips and jokes. But there's also things you don't quite expect from a Marvel Studios movie, and that's death. Yeah, people die in this movie. They freaking kick the bucket. I'm talking, you see their dead body and everything. I've always been someone who criticized the Marvel Studios movies for not taking any risks when it came to killing off their main characters. But they really let you know that characters are in danger, that they die. And it really raises the stakes that much more. Sure, a lot of the deaths, especially the ones near the end, will definitely not be permanent. But they did make an impact, I thought, in the context of the film. It is a Marvel Studios film, so there's a lot of humor, but the humor is natural. A lot of the jokes come from the Guardians side of things, but the Russos know that when there's a dramatic and intense moment, they know when to stop with the jokes. And I do appreciate that, because a lot of the other Marvel movies don't do that. I think that's also what added to how scary Thanos was. It's that he didn't make any jokes. Do you guys remember Ultron from Age of Ultron and how stupid his jokes were?
Invaders create Avengers. People create smaller people. Children. I lost the word there.
It's like if the T-800 just suddenly stopped killing people and started doing a Seinfeldian comedy routine.
Why do they call them hardwood floors? Just call them floors. You know any softwood floors?
Let's talk about Spider-Man's 10th Doctor moment. You know the one I'm talking about.
I don't want to go.
One of the most, probably the most touching and heartbreaking death in the movie. You don't see Spider-Man have this graceful farewell, telling Tony to avenge him or stop Thanos. He's just this scared, vulnerable kid. Spider-Man is Marvel's most beloved character, and seeing him go out like that definitely tugged at the old heartstrings. I think I heard some sniffing in the cinema at that moment.
I don't want to go. I don't want to go. Sir, please. Please, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. I'm sorry, no.
After credit scene. It's a Marvel movie. Of course it has one. It does a good job at showing the street level, real world consequences of what happened in the movie. And it's pretty scary. We see it from the perspective of Nick Fury and Maria Hill. And before Nick Fury disintegrates, he pulls out a pager. He calls someone for help. His pager drops to the ground. Who could it be? What's gonna pop up? Is it an X? Is it an F4? Oh, it's just Captain Marvel. Okay, Marvel, I thought you were actually gonna surprise us. Okay, I've spoken enough about this movie. Go watch Infinity War on the biggest screen possible. Watch it on the freaking Eiffel Tower. Watch it on the freaking Statue of Liberty. It has something for everyone. It has action, adventure, romance, comedy, and most importantly, it has heart. This has been KyberQ. Peace out.